So, I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine that you have built this wildly successful, just incredibly glamorous life.
Right. The kind of life everyone dreams about.
Exactly. But then you realize you have to burn it all to the ground just to survive.
Oh, wow. That is a heavy realization.
It really is. And that is exactly what we're getting into today. We are doing a deep dive into a really revealing interview with actress Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah, it's about her memoir, This Is Me, A Reckoning.
Right. And the mission for this deep dive is really important to establish up front. We are not here to just, gossip about Hollywood.
No, definitely not.
We want to really examine the profound psychological toll of living for other people's approval because, we're looking at the unseen realities of childhood fame.
And the immense courage it really takes to reclaim your own narrative.
Yes, exactly. Because look, as a listener, you might not have paparazzi literally chasing your car down the street.
Right. Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. But you probably know what it feels like to, sacrifice your own boundaries just to keep the peace, or to contort yourself to meet someone else's expectations.
Absolutely. We all do that in some capacity.
So, to really understand why Hayden struggled so much as an adult, we have to start at the beginning. We have to look at how her identity was formed.
Or really, how it was hijacked.
Exactly. She started in the industry at 8 months old. 8 months.
Which is just wild. At 8 months old, you don't even have the neurological capacity to form conscious thoughts.
Right.
And she was already a working professional. She never had a normal childhood, no normal extracurriculars, no regular play dates.
She was basically straddling these two completely different worlds, right?
Yeah, and she ultimately fit into neither of them.
And the stories about the adults in her early life are they're really upsetting. She faced severe bullying, not just from kids, but from adults.
Oh, yeah. The kindergarten story.
Yes. When she was in kindergarten, there was this total accident with a plastic wet wipe box. It snapped on another little girl's finger. And the teacher actually looked at this 5-year-old child and blamed her.
Which is just a direct projection of adult malice onto a kindergartner.
Yeah.
Just because she was on television.
It's awful. And then later, a substitute teacher literally stood up and mockingly called her the big cheese in front of the whole class.
Wow. Yeah, when adults model that kind of cruelty, it just gives the peers permission to do the exact same thing.
And her peers definitely took that permission. When she was 10, she was so proud of working on the movie Remember the Titans.
Such a huge movie.
It was. But when the teachers played it in class, the other kids would literally roll their eyes, they would huff, and they passed her these incredibly nasty notes.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And the saddest part is what she did with them. She didn't throw the notes away. She kept them in a box under her bed.
Wait, really? Why?
She wanted to study them. She thought if she could just figure out what they hated, she could change her performance so they would finally like her.
Wow. At 10 years old.
Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this, because being a child star in this specific context, it sounds like being the main structural pillar of a house while you're still made of wet clay.
That is a brilliant way to put it. Every adult is carving a piece out of you.
Right. But, I have to push back a little here. She leaned into her talent, right? Didn't she actually enjoy the acting itself?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, yes, she did enjoy the work. She had a real gift, but the cost was massive. By the time she was 12, she was having a profound identity crisis.
At 12.
Yeah. She realized she could seamlessly put on all these masks. She could be the happy girl, the sad girl, whatever they needed. But beneath the characters, she had absolutely no idea who she actually was.
Because she was conditioned to just ignore her own instincts, right?
Exactly. She relied entirely on adult direction. Her whole survival was based on anticipating what adults wanted and just delivering it perfectly.
Which sets such a dangerous precedent for her future. Because when you're conditioned from childhood to blindly trust adults and suppress your own voice, you're so vulnerable.
Uniquely vulnerable, especially as she entered early adulthood.
Yeah, and vulnerable to the exact people who are supposed to be protecting her. Which brings us to her mother.
Right. The dynamic there was really complicated.
It was. Her mother was basically her boss. Their entire relationship was focused on the business. And by the time she was a teenager, there was this massive role reversal.
Her earnings were paying for everything, weren't they?
Everything. The family's cars, their cell phones, the apartment they all shared. She was a kid carrying the financial weight of adults.
Which creates just immense, unbearable guilt.
Exactly. And so, at 19, while she was on the set of the show Heroes, she tried to actually sever the business ties. She just wanted a mom, not a manager.
That makes total sense. And how did her mom react?
Her mother's response was, "You owe me." She expected a massive financial payout.
Oh, wow. That is just devastating.
Yeah, and today they have no relationship at all. But it wasn't just her family. The industry protectors were just as bad.
Yeah, the boat incident is terrifying.
It really is. At 18, a trusted female friend, someone she really saw as a protector, invited her onto a boat. And this friend lured her into a small room, locked her in, and there was an undressed, famous, older man waiting inside.
Just completely trapping her.
Yes, Hayden literally had to bolt. She had to hide in corners of this boat just to escape.
It completely breaks your internal alarm system when the person protecting you is the one feeding you to the wolves.
Totally. And it happened in smaller, quieter ways, too. Like, before a red carpet, a trusted team member handed her these so-called confidence pills.
So planting the seeds for future addiction, because she was taught to just swallow whatever management gave her.
But wait, let me push back on this. At 18, she was the star of Heroes. She had money, she had massive fame. Couldn't she just walk away from these bad actors?
Well, from the outside, that seems like the logical move.
Yeah.
But biologically, her frontal lobe wasn't fully developed yet.
Right, the decision-making part of the brain.
Exactly. And more importantly, her entire survival mechanism was built on people-pleasing. When the exact people you rely on for safety are the ones handing you pills or locking you in rooms, you don't know what danger looks like anymore.
Danger just looks like love and management.
Precisely. Her internal alarm system was completely broken.
So this internal breakage, it really reached a crisis point when the boundary between her real-life trauma and her professional work totally collapsed.
Yeah, and this happened on the show Nashville, right?
Yes. She played Juliet Barnes on Nashville for 6 years, working 10 months out of the year, 12 to 20 hours a day.
That schedule alone is grueling.
It is. But the bizarre part is that the writers actively mirrored her real life in the scripts. They wrote in alcoholism, postpartum depression, and even losing a child.
Which she was actually dealing with in real time.
Yes. She said she couldn't come up for air, she was suffering from debilitating anxiety and using alcohol to self-medicate just to survive, playing out her own dark realities on camera.
It's a total mind warp. And the reality of her postpartum depression, or PPD, is just staggering.
It really is. She went to a rehab facility at 4 months postpartum to treat the alcoholism, but the medical professionals there completely missed the PPD.
They just didn't see it at all.
No. It took her 10 months of doing her own frantic research to finally figure it out herself.
That is such a massive failure of the medical system.
And all the while, the paparazzi are just relentlessly hunting her.
Oh, the stories about the paparazzi from this time are insane.
They boxed her rental car into moving traffic, almost causing a massive crash. They would physically kick her leg just to provoke a reaction so they could get an angry photo.
Wow.
She literally had to hide under yoga mats in the back of cars just to get around. And then, here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, do tell.
It's like being forced to perform a psychological autopsy on yourself live on television day after day while the paparazzi throw gasoline on the building.
That is a perfect analogy.
And after all that exploitation, she lost a 10-year deal with Neutrogena. And do you know why? Simply because she was honest about her PPD on Live with Kelly and Michael.
Which is such a profound injustice.
Right.
Yeah, she was punished commercially for showing genuine human vulnerability. But meanwhile, the network was relentlessly exploiting her actual pain for ratings.
Exactly. It just highlights society's deep, deep misunderstanding and stigmatization of postpartum depression.
We want the glamorous performance of pain, not the messy reality of it.
So true. So, stripped of all her coping mechanisms and terrified of being alone, she finds herself trapped in these toxic personal dynamics. She was desperately trying to fix what was broken.
And this is where we see the contrast with Vlad Klitschko.
Yes, Vlad. They met when she was 19, and he was just this incredibly safe, respectful presence in her life.
Right. And when she was really struggling with the addiction and the PPD, a massive decision had to be made.
Vlad took custody of their daughter, Kaya. He took her to give her a stable life in Europe. And Hayden makes this very clear. She completely refutes the rumor that she abandoned her child.
Yeah, it was the exact opposite.
It was an act of profound motherly love. She gave up custody to protect Kaya while she got herself healthy. And today, they successfully co-parent, and they never badmouth each other.
It takes so much strength to realize You weren't the safe harbor your child needs in that moment.
It really does. But then, tragically, she fell into a severe domestic abuse situation with a different partner.
Yeah, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde dynamic.
Exactly. Much like her mother, his abuse was heavily triggered by alcohol. She shared a journal entry from this time that just broke my heart. She wrote that she was more afraid of being alone than being abused.
Oh, man. That is so honest.
She kept trying to fix him. She believed his apologies every time he sobered up. Ultimately, it took the FBI and the Secret Service getting involved to finally put him in jail.
Wow, that escalated so far.
It did. But I think a lot of people hear about an abusive relationship and think, you're successful, you're strong, you have money. Why not just leave the moment it gets bad?
Well, this raises an important question about the psychology of abuse. It is a literal hamster wheel. Abusers specifically prey on empathy.
Right, they hook you with the vulnerability.
Exactly. And Hayden's real breakthrough wasn't just physically leaving. It was the heartbreaking realization that the abuser's good side was entirely an act.
Wait, really? The good side wasn't real at all?
No. Once she finally accepted that the good wasn't real, that it was just a manipulation tactic, the trauma bond broke. There was nothing left to fix.
That is so powerful. But of course, just as she begins to break free from these cycles, just as she's reclaiming her life, she gets hit with these unimaginable external tragedies.
Yeah, life really just threw everything at her at once.
3 years ago, she lost her younger brother to addiction. She called him her other half. He was the only person who truly understood her, and she carries this immense guilt for not being able to save him.
That survivor's guilt is so heavy.
And recently, she dealt with a terrifying stalker. This person threatened to decapitate her with a katana sword. She literally had to cancel speaking engagements.
Oh my God, that is absolutely terrifying.
And the worst part, the stalker recently got out of jail.
You're kidding.
Nope. She called all of this compounded trauma the icing on the cake. But here's the craziest part. Despite all of this, she walked into this recent interview smiling.
Really? Smiling?
Yeah. She said she felt the weight of a 10-year dilemma finally lifted off her shoulders just by speaking her truth.
So what does this all mean? I mean, grief and trauma here seem like an ocean current. You can't fight it. You can't fix it. You just have to learn how to float. How does she keep going?
Well, it shows that true resilience isn't about preventing bad things from happening. You can't control the ocean current.
Right.
Resilience is about what you do after you fall. Hayden is actively choosing to use her story to help other people break their own toxic cycles. She is turning her deepest pain into a tool for service. Wow. That is an incredible journey. From a child conditioned to perform for love to a woman surviving the darkest corners of fame, addiction, and abuse.
And finally becoming the absolute author of her own life.
Yes. And, for you listening to this right now, I really want you to reflect on your own life. Think about the boundaries you have.
Yeah. Where are you compromising yourself?
Exactly. Are there areas where you might be staying silent just to keep someone else comfortable? Are you shrinking yourself to fit a role someone else wrote for you?
We've talked a lot today about the literal roles Hayden had to play to survive. But think about your own life.
Yeah.
What character have you been playing just to make the people around you happy? And more importantly, what would happen if you finally decided to break character?